Have you ever wondered how your morning coffee is produced? It all starts with the coffee beans. These tiny seeds, often mistaken for beans, are the heart of an intricate process that turns a simple plant into your favorite morning brew. Coffee beans come from the fruit of the coffee plant, a genus of flowering plants whose seeds, or beans, are harvested for coffee. These plants are native to tropical regions of Africa, specifically areas in Sudan and Ethiopia, but they've since spread across the globe. Today you can find coffee trees flourishing in over 70 countries, primarily in the equatorial regions of the Americas, Southeast Asia, India, and Africa. There are two main species of coffee beans that we consume: coffee arabica, simply known as arabica, and coffee canephora, more commonly known as robusta. Arabica beans are delicate, with a wide range of flavors and nuances. They require careful attention and specific conditions to grow. On the other hand, robusta beans are hardier and yield a stronger, more bitter brew, often used in espressos. Growing coffee is a labor of love. The coffee tree requires specific conditions to thrive. It prefers a temperature of between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit and well-drained soil. It needs lots of rain, but not constant. Too much water can damage the roots. It's a delicate balance. The tree takes about 3 to 4 years to bear fruit, known as coffee cherries. The cherries are typically hand-picked, an arduous and time-consuming task. Each cherry contains 2 seeds, which after a process of drying and roasting, become the coffee beans we know and love. It's fascinating to think, isn't it, that the simple act of brewing your morning cup of joe starts with a journey that spans countries and continents. From a tree that requires just the right conditions to grow, to the hand-picking of coffee cherries and the extraction of their seeds. So the journey of your coffee starts from these meticulously grown coffee trees. Once the coffee cherries are ripe and ready, the harvesting process begins. It's a vital stage in the journey of coffee, where timing is everything. The cherries need to be picked when they are a bright, deep red, a sign they are ripe and full of flavor. There are 2 primary methods of harvesting: strip picking and selective picking. Strip picking is exactly what it sounds like. The cherries are stripped off the branch all at once, either by machine or by hand. It's a fast, efficient method, but it doesn't discriminate between ripe and unripe cherries. On the other hand, we have selective picking, a more meticulous and time-consuming method. Here, only the ripe cherries are hand-picked, leaving the unripe ones for later. It ensures the highest quality since only the ripest cherries make the cut, but it requires a keen eye and a lot of patience. Regardless of the harvesting method used, the cherries need immediate processing to prevent spoilage. The pulp of the cherry is removed, leaving only the seed, what we know as the coffee bean. This is typically done in one of 2 ways: the dry method, which involves drying out the cherries in the sun, or the wet method, where water is used to separate the pulp from the bean. The beans are then fermented, a process that allows the remaining fruit residue to be broken down and washed away. Fermentation can take anywhere from 12 to 48 hours and has a significant impact on the flavor profile of the coffee. Finally, the beans are dried again to bring down their moisture content to a suitable level for storage. They are then sorted and bagged, ready to be shipped off to coffee roasters around the world. After rigorous harvesting and initial processing, coffee beans are ready for the next step. They've come a long way from being cherries on a tree, but their journey is far from over. With the beans out of the cherries, it's time to dry them out. This is the crucial step that helps to reduce the moisture content of the beans, making them perfect for the next stages of the coffee production process. Now, there are 2 primary methods to dry coffee beans: sun drying and machine drying. Sun drying is the traditional method, and it's as straightforward as it sounds. The beans are spread out in thin layers under the sun, often on large patios or drying tables. They are raked and turned throughout the day to ensure even drying and to prevent fermentation or mold. It's a slow process, taking up to several weeks, depending on the weather. But the patience pays off, as it helps to preserve the beans' natural flavors. On the other hand, we have machine drying. It's faster and more controlled, using mechanical dryers that operate much like a tumble dryer at home. The beans are stirred constantly and dried evenly, usually within a period of 24 to 48 hours. However, it's worth noting that over-reliance on machine drying can potentially damage the beans and alter their taste. With the beans dried, we move on to milling, which involves hulling and polishing. Hulling is the process of removing the parchment layer, or endocarp, from wet processed coffee. In dry processed coffee, it removes the entire dried husk of the cherries. It's a delicate process, as the aim is to protect the bean inside. Polishing is an optional process. Some millers believe that polishing beans gives them a more pleasing, shiny appearance. However, it doesn't necessarily enhance the quality or taste of the coffee, and some argue that it might even remove some of the flavors. Drying and milling ensure that the beans are now ready to reveal their true flavor. These are essential steps in the journey of a coffee bean, transforming it from a simple seed into a vessel of delightful complexity. It's a journey of patience, care, and attention to detail, all to ensure that every sip of coffee you take is nothing short of perfect. Quality control is a key part of coffee production, and that's where sorting comes in. Once the coffee beans have been dried and milled, they're ready for this critical step. Sorting the beans might sound simple, but it's a process that requires a keen eye and meticulous attention to detail. The first step in sorting is separating the beans by size. This is done using sieves with varying hole sizes. The beans that fall through the larger holes but remain on top of the smaller ones are grouped together. This process is repeated with different size sieves until all the beans have been sorted. Size matters because it directly impacts the roasting process. Beans of the same size roast at the same rate, ensuring a consistent flavor profile. But sorting by size isn't enough. The beans are also sorted by weight. They are passed through a machine that uses air to separate the lighter, less desirable beans from the heavier, high-quality ones. This weight-based sorting process helps to eliminate any beans that are underdeveloped or have defects. After sorting by size and weight, the beans undergo one final quality check, handpicking. This is where workers visually inspect the beans, removing any that are discolored, damaged, or just don't meet the standard. This step, though time-consuming, ensures that only the very best beans make it into your cup of coffee. Now that the beans have been sorted, it's time to pack them up for their journey. They are carefully packed into jute or sisal bags, typically weighing about 130 to 150 pounds each. These bags are then loaded onto shipping containers and sent off to coffee roasters all over the globe. The sorting and exporting process is a testament to the care and dedication that goes into every step of coffee production. It ensures that when you brew your cup of coffee, you're getting the best of the best. Once sorted and packed, these beans are ready to travel the world. And that, my friends, is the magic behind every cup of coffee. Now it's time for the magic to happen, the roasting and grinding. Think of roasting as the turning point in the life of a coffee bean. This is where they go from green and tasteless to rich, dark, and full of flavor. It's like a symphony where the maestro is the roast master. The roast master must have an understanding of the bean's origin, their density and moisture content. Why? Because these factors determine the roasting time and temperature. Roasting is a careful balancing act. You see, each bean has hundreds of flavor compounds. Too much heat and you risk burning the beans, destroying their flavor. Too little, and the beans remain green, failing to reach their full potential. The goal is to hit that sweet spot where the beans transform into a beautiful brown, crackling as they release their oils. This is known as the first crack, a sign that the roasting is nearly complete. But the magic doesn't end there. No, it's time for the beans to cool down. This step is crucial, as it stops the roasting process, locking the flavors inside. The beans are rapidly cooled using either air or water. This ensures that they maintain their flavor and aroma, all set for the next step. And now we grind. Grinding the beans is like unlocking a treasure chest of flavors. It breaks down the beans, releasing their aroma and flavor. But it's not as simple as crushing the beans. The grind size matters. A finer grind is perfect for espresso, while a coarser grind works best for a French press. Each brewing method requires a different grind size to extract the perfect flavor, and there you have it. From green, tasteless beans to a rich, aromatic blend, the transformation is nothing short of magical. This is the art and science of coffee roasting and grinding, where every step is designed to bring out the best in every bean. Roasted and ground to perfection, your coffee beans are now ready to make a delightful cup of coffee. Finally, the moment we all have been waiting for, brewing the coffee. This is where the magic truly happens, where all the effort put into cultivation, harvesting, and processing pays off. The brewing process is an art in itself, with various methods employed worldwide. Some prefer the traditional drip method, where hot water is poured over a filter containing ground coffee, slowly extracting the rich flavors. Others opt for the French press, a method that allows the coffee grounds to steep, resulting in a stronger, more robust brew. For the espresso lovers, machines force hot water through tightly packed, finely ground coffee, creating a concentrated coffee shot with a distinctive crema on top. Each brewing method has its own charm, each contributing to the coffee's final taste and aroma in a unique way, and there you have it, a perfect cup of coffee, from the tree to your cup, each step contributing to its unique taste and aroma.